Good morning, and welcome to RJC's first official chapel of the year. My name is Ryan Wood. I'm the principal of RJC High School, and it is really my privilege to welcome you here today. Specifically, I'm speaking out and welcoming Thomas, tuning in from the United States, Eduardo from Mexico, Jean, who's quarantining and doing her 2 weeks isolation in Saskatoon, and we're hoping to see you soon, Jean. A shout out to Jenny, Elvin, and Charles in Hong Kong and China. These are students who are hoping to join us very soon when student visas can be acquired, and they're part of our student community right now. Welcome to chapel. We're going to go live to David Epp, our VP of Student Life and Spiritual Life Coordinator, and also get to see some of the student body in our chapel this year, which due to COVID measures is now in our gymnasium. So welcome here, welcome to chapel.
So good morning, everyone. Good morning for those folks who are turning in outside of RJC's space here. My name is David Epp, and I'm excited to have the chance to meet you virtually today. And I'm certainly excited for that time in which you will arrive to join us here in Rostern as part of our student body here at school. Welcome to all of you guys here for our first chapel of the year. It is so good to have this chance to gather together again in this space and to attend to one another. There's a different energy certainly in the room than when we first gathered during that initial opening day of school, getting used to where we're going, where classrooms are, and who are the folks that are gathered around us. And already I can tell that quick friendships have been formed, certainly the kinds of things that we talked about in the grade 10 class. And the grade 10s know what I'm talking about today is certainly not first day talk, but it shows that we're getting to know one another well. At this time in chapel, I would ask that you guys take your phones, and please do put those in your pockets, that you remove your earbuds or earphones, and that you sit up as best as you're able, that we might be present and attentive here, not only to what it is that we're going to be sharing and practicing together, but also to the fact that here at school we do recognize that where 2 or 3 of us are gathered, God is present with us as well. Every time we'll meet for chapel, we're going to open with a word of prayer. So I would invite you to please pray with me. God, we've said thank you many, many times over the course of this week. And here in our first chapel, we'll take the chance to say thank you again. We're grateful for weather that even though it's a little bit chilly, has allowed us to go outside for activities, to play together, to catch a touchdown, to kick the ball, space to build those relationships that will be the foundation of our time here at RJC this year. We're grateful for the chance to return to class. It is so much more fun to be present in a classroom together than it is to be learning through a screen. What a gift to share this space with so many incredible students. And God, we give thanks for the fact that a community of support, a network of prayer that is surrounding RJC has ensured that our start of the school year has not only been healthy and happy, but possible. For all of these things, we say once more, thank you. Amen. One of the things that we want to do together in chapel, in fact, one of the reasons that we're gathered here in the gymnasium, is that at RJC we love to sing. And so even though this is a time of COVID, when there are some different expectations and things that we need to keep in mind as we do this together, I think that it is important as a community to join our voices in song. And so Zach, as he is getting ready, is going to lead us in singing, but before we start, I want to let you guys know how it is that we'll be able to sing together in this space. First, we're going to have to wear our masks while we're singing. I know that the chapel is a classroom, and different classrooms have different expectations, but while we're singing, we do need to all be wearing a mask. The second thing And one of the reasons why we're split into these large sections with the lines sort of around us is that we're also going to need to spread out. So, quietly and in control, I'd ask at this time that all of you guys do please stand. Once you're standing, and again, quietly, respectfully, and in control, please put out your arms like this. We don't need to helicopter or anything like that. Okay, if you're next to Abby, then you're probably playing limbo, and that's going to be okay. Okay? Maybe that's a game the SRC SCC will organize one more night. Abby Vanderkooi, limbo. And just reach out your arms like this. We need to be 2 arms length away from the nearest person to us. So please just spread out and fill the space.
Yeah, we got some space that way.
Once we're done singing, we can return back to our spots, but just go like this again. We're not swinging big, right? This is not some kind of amateur yoga or something like that. We're just reaching out to make sure that we're appropriately spaced. The last thing is that when we're singing, we do need to just be facing forward. And it's lucky for us that we have this big screen behind me where you're going to find the words. We know that this is early, and the songs that we're singing may be unfamiliar to some, but don't worry. Over the course of the year, we're going to find our voice, and we're going to build in that trust and confidence together as we sing as an expression of who we are and what it means to be community here at RJC.
All right, let's prepare ourselves and let us sing Sanctuary. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Let's do it again. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. Please do feel free to take a seat. As you guys are sitting, and before we keep going with chapel, I do just have to tell you what a gift it is to listen to you. All I could think about as you were singing is what a miracle it is that in the midst of a global pandemic, here it is that we are singing about a sanctuary space, a community space of security and safety, of thanksgiving. We're in the midst of a world where there's a lot that's not right. We can identify those things that are life-giving and for which we give thanks. Guys, thank you for that song. I am so appreciative of the chance to live and work in the midst of a community like this, shared with you, in which that is the expression of what it is that we do together. Just a quick show of hands. How many of you guys watched the Raptors game yesterday? An amazing game. An amazing game. in the story of the Raptors franchise. Whether you're a sports fan or not, there is something that is exhilarating about second overtime and having your team win at the end. I know for me, one of the real treats of growing up here in Canada was the fact that the NHL playoffs have unlimited overtime. And the only time that my folks, when I was little, ever let me stay up past midnight was when the Calgary Flames, maybe the Vancouver Canucks were playing in that second, third, fourth, fifth overtime. And there is really nothing like it where the game can end in a moment and you have that feeling of excitement and joy. Who knows, maybe in the future some of you guys are going to be voting for Kyle Lowry as Prime Minister of Canada. And if he wins, it'll be because of this game, no doubt. Now, I love sports. Football is my favorite sport, but I am someone who enjoys watching those kinds of things. Growing up, maybe like you guys, I always watched the sports highlight each morning. That's how I ate my breakfast, usually Shreddies, and had a chance to get ready to come to school. I still love sports. I was chatting with Zach earlier this morning about my fantasy football roster. I play in a couple of teams with this. If you don't know what it is, don't worry. It's like the nerdiest thing football fans do. And so here at school, we actually do have a staff league as well, where I'm competing against Allison and Zach, against Aaron and Michael and Hugo and Ryan too. Tough luck for Ryan. He missed the draft, so the computer picked for him. So we'll see how his year goes. One of the reasons that I love sports so much is because they're unpredictable. Because there are those moments, those human moments, where almost anything can happen. It's almost transcendent. It's one of the reasons why I tried to watch sports when the lockdown started with COVID, but honestly, my heart wasn't in it. Even though I had never watched the game, even though I had never seen that play, it didn't really matter. It was on replay, and that spark, that moment was gone. And so when I watch these games, sometimes what I'm thinking about is, what would it take for one team to live into that human moment, to rise to the challenge, and to sort of be successful, to be the Raptors in second overtime against the Celtics with their back against the wall? One of the things that I've realized, though, is that not every sport is the same. And some of you guys who are multiple sport athletes know what I mean. Just a quick show of hands. How many of you guys play volleyball? Lots. How many of you guys play or have played football? How about hockey? Hands up. Okay, hockey. Basketball, we got to mention that. How about golf? Are there any golfers here? Okay, I love golf too. What about biathlon? Any? Every sport sort of has its own unique character and quality. And that's part of what makes them so special. That volleyball is not basketball, that football is not golf, and that we can explore all of these sides of ourselves. Over the course of summer, I was reading an article that talked about this difference between some of these different sports. It's by a writer that I really like. His name is Malcolm Gladwell. Grade 10s, you're going to hear a lot about him, because whether or not I agree with everything that he says, he always makes me think. And what he said is that as we look at sports, there actually are two types of team sports. There are strong link theories of sports and weak link theories of sport. So here's what I mean by that. Take basketball, for example. You could have a totally crap team, and you add LeBron James to it. What are your chances of winning the NBA championship? Not 100%, but they are way higher. How about the Raptors last year? A pretty good team, added Kawhi Leonard, and all of a sudden, what happens? They win. Now, they've had good players before, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and others, but Kawhi Leonard was at the top. Basketball is a strong link game in the sense that one person, the strongest person, makes an incredible difference on the field or on the court. Let's think about a different sport for a second. What about soccer? Now, I didn't ask about this, but I expect that many of you, like me, have grown up playing soccer. Now, is soccer the same as basketball, or is it not? Just think about that for a second. Because even if you're not a soccer fan, my guess is that you might know the name Messi. And maybe you know Cristiano Ronaldo, if not by his face, then probably by his abs. So if basketball is a strong link game where one person, LeBron James, can make that difference to take a 0 to hero right away, is soccer the same? Even with players like Messi and Ronaldo, it's different. It doesn't matter how sculpted those abs are. It doesn't matter how much better Messi is than others. Soccer is a weak link game. Think about it. In order to put a player in position to score, you need to have a pass from the defenders up to the halfbacks. You need to carry it up the field. Maybe you cross the court. You cross it in. Sometimes it takes up to 8 or 9 or 10 passes to just get one shot. That's why soccer has so many games of 0-0, 1-0, is because the amount of work that it takes to score is so much higher. What this means is that in basketball, if you really want to improve your team, you got to look for a superstar. You got to find the LeBron James. You got to get sort of like a squad type thing so that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that are that upper echelon, and if you don't, tough luck. I guess you're like the Flint Tropics. Thanks, Rafa. That's a deep cut on Will Ferrell movies for anybody who knows. In soccer, if you want to improve, what this logic behind weak link games means is that you don't go out and only look for superstars. You got to make sure that your entire team is there. Because in soccer, if you have 8 good passes and you miss on the 9th, are you going to score? No. It's a totally different game. When I think about our year here at RJC, and in fact, when I think about the nature of RJC as a community, I started wondering, are we a strong link community or are we a weak link community? Now, that doesn't mean that we have weak links here. Don't misunderstand me. It's the question of how is it that we get to our best? Think about that for a second. Are we a weak link community or a strong link community? It doesn't take very long, and I'm sure you guys will arrive at the same answer as me. We're a weak link community. In eating together and living together and learning together and playing together and singing together. It takes all of us. We make passes all the time. We rely on one another. That's the nature of living in a space like this. We are connected in a way that honestly almost no other school is. In order for one of us to score, in order to set up Messi to score, we got to make those passes, and we got to do our part. What I love about this idea of RJC as a weak link community like soccer is that it means that there is an essential and fundamental and important place for each of us. All 11 players on a soccer field matter. Every student at RJC matters because we do not know when it will be our time to receive the ball and to pass it, when it will be our time to defend or to score. It takes all of us in order for RJC to be its best. There's an idea that the Bible speaks about that's connected to how we understand the body that is exactly the same way. The body has many parts, it says, and no one part is superior than the next. In order for the foot to function properly, it takes the shin and the knee and the hip to all do its part. In order to eat, we don't just use our mouth. In order to taste, we don't just use our tongue. We use our hands to bring that food. We use our eyes to see it and to let us know what it is that we'd like to enjoy. the body functions properly because each part has a role and each part serves a purpose. Today's chapel is really an expression of this idea of RJC as a body, RJC as a weak link community. Because there are always many opportunities for us to do our part so that we can be our best. So, at this time, I'd like to call forward the SRC committee leaders and SRC committee representatives to please come forward. On Tuesday during study hall next week, all of you guys are going to be invited to join a committee. We're going to have 5 different committees this year. That's 1 new from last year. And the expectation is that each student will come and join one of these. I'll just say that once more. The expectation is that each student join one of these committees. They're an opportunity for us to make that pass, to do our part, and to contribute in service, to bring this space to life, utilizing our different gifts and abilities. So on Tuesday, during study hall time, you guys are going to have a chance to join one of these. And these folks who are up here have taken some time to prepare and to let you know what the opportunity is in each of their committee. So why don't we start with you, Izzy, and we're just going to run down the line. And once you're finished, just go back and stand up here at the front.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Isabel, and I'm the Borscht editor this year. Borscht, essentially, is the school newspaper for RJC. During committee meetings, we will all meet and put our ideas together to create a vision of what Borscht will look like this year. Generally, we try to release an issue every month, but of course that doesn't always happen. Sometimes Borscht issues will have themes, such as back to school, Christmas, and so on and so forth. Borscht is a really great committee to be part of, even if you are not a fan of writing. Throughout the years, we have had everything from quizzes and jokes to comics and official articles. Whatever you think the student body will be interested in may be submitted. It is all up to your creativity and strengths. If you enjoy using your creative side, consider joining Borscht. This is going to be a great year.
All right, so my name's JC and I am the spirit leader this year. And basically what my job is to make sure that everyone is having fun. So I plan all of the dress up days, all of the events and everything. So if you have ideas about any of that, I'm the one to talk to. Spirit it's a great time. You get to make a lot of friends, and we're the people that at your sporting events sit in the crowd with blue face paint on. So yeah, come join Spirit.
Hello guys, I'm Faith in Life community leader. So what we are doing basically is planning chapels and creating some in-depth meaningful experiences within our community. So giving you guys some examples, we would plan for deeper life days where we invite guests to talk and share their stories. Last year we had a theme for the chapel, which was Love Has No End. And 2 days ago we had Dr. McMillan come over to our campus. So we would have opportunities to listen to stories that guests have to offer for us. So we will also do a fundraiser called Adventopoly this year, where people would bring their items. Some are unique and fun, and we have accumulated more than $60,000 to date. On top of that, we would do some prayings, reading some Bible verses, and would occasionally sing. Last year we had a band coming, and it was planned by Zach, one of our staff members, and his dad. So we got to sing a lot of songs. It was a lot of fun. So finally, this year we would put our focus on doing other special events and come up with new ideas from our community members to take care of our spiritual, emotional, and mental well-beings. Yeah, thank you.
I'm Micah, and I'm this year's link editor. So if you don't know what link is, it's basically the committee. We make the yearbook for this year. And if you like being creative, if you like art, Photoshop, or if you like food, then you can join Link. We get food because we work the most, but it's still fun. Yeah. Yay.
There is one additional committee. There is one additional committee this year, which is not a part of SRC, and so it doesn't have a student designated leader yet, called Eco Committee. So Alex in admissions is going to help to lead Eco Committee based on some things that some of the staff and students worked on last year, which was trying to create a green shift in the school. So that will also be meeting during committee meeting times and will be an additional committee that you can be a part of.
So thanks again to our committee leaders. You guys are welcome to go back to your seats. And even though these are students who have self-identified and been affirmed as sort of spokespeople and leaders of these spaces, really it is a combined effort of drawing all of our gifts together to see what we might accomplish. The last thing I want to mention with this idea of community is the fact that at RJC, we believe that participation is an expression of service to the community. We could not play flag football if folks didn't show up. And think about it, we would have missed seeing all of Nora and Mason's touchdowns. Amazing. We wouldn't be able to have Run Club if folks didn't come, to say nothing of choir and kickball and stuff like that. So we want to recognize and celebrate the gift of your time and effort, the gift of your energy and your participation. So every time you participate in a team, in a committee, in a club or a choir, RJC will keep track of that participation and you'll earn community involvement points. There are standards of participation at a bronze, silver, and gold level. Bronze is 10 points, silver is 20, and gold is 25. And at the end of the year, we tally all of these things and recognize those students who met those standards. So I wanted to give you that heads up that you will have this opportunity not only to be recognized but also celebrated for the way in which each of you in the space of this weak link community are doing your best to make sure that we can be at our best. With that, we've come to the end of our chapel, and here at RJC, we always end our chapels with a prayer as well. So please pray with me before we dismiss for lunch. God, we have been put in this space. We've been drawn to this community with gifts and with abilities. We recognize that we can be at our best when each of us gives of ourselves, both in terms of time and energy, and it remains open to the opportunities that are before us. God, give us the bravery and the courage to step up and to try something new. Give us an open heart to think about whether an opportunity or a team might be something that we'd like to try. And God, give us sensitivity and awareness that we might celebrate those folks in our midst who are experiencing a sense of vulnerability and trying something new. God, with you present among us, we do believe that we can be a community that is a life-giving space for each person who is present. Amen. Folks, responsibly, I'm going to ask that the grade 12s head out. We can head straight to the dining hall. Make sure that you sanitize your hands. Please do make sure that you walk out in control.